Hello everyone. So today we have Polaris company dancer and choreographer Chase Hamilton here with us today. Chase, tell us a little bit about your dance background.
Well, I started dancing when I was a freshman in high school over at Arts and Communications Magnet Academy in Beaverton, and I was born and raised here, just kind of a local guy. I've stuck around, and yeah.
Cool. All right, so we're just going to ask you a couple questions just about your experience in the studio as a choreographer, since we know that you are a company member as well, but you're taking on a different role as choreographer this time around. So our first question is, in addition to this being your first piece set on Polaris, is it your first piece set on a professional dance company? And how would you describe your experience so far?
The first time I set work on I was on Body Box 2 last year, and we got to create our own concert. And so I had the opportunity of setting works on them and feeling out what that was like. And this time around, it's a totally different experience. And I'm not it's probably because of the people and our friendships and how we get along and how we interact. And it's also, I almost feel like I'm learning more than the dancers are, in a sense, because I'm learning how to communicate. I'm learning how to get them to do what I want them to do when I want them to do it. You know, I would need to get them to say what I want them to say in a specific way, but still keeping their individuality, like a language, like a foreign language. So it's all the same words and it's pronounced the same, but everyone's got their different accents or their slang or their individuality that they bring into it. And that's something that I really like to play off of. And knowing these dancers so closely, most of them, and being such good friends with them, it's difficult and it's hard to create movement for them, because I will do something and then I'll think to myself, oh, no, I don't want them to do that. That's not Zoe, that's not Melissa, that's not what she does. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
Awesome. Our next question is, what is the most rewarding or exciting part of seeing your movement in action?
Gosh, what is it? I mean, when you're setting your artwork on somebody, and you see them do it right for the first time, or how you want it to look, and you see that happen, and it's your thoughts, and it's your voice, coming through in someone else's body, and that itself is just really exciting to see.
That's awesome. I bet.
Yeah.
What has been the most difficult part of your experience thus far?
Oh, most difficult part. Probably trying to choreograph how I want to choreograph versus choreographing how I feel.
Interesting.
Is that?
Yeah. No.
Because I think about this a lot in terms of how I live my life and how I want to live my life, and the actions and things that I want to do and how I want to treat people, and the thoughts that I want to have, the process that I want to have. And it's one that is, about positivity and about oneness and, unity versus duality, and working from a place of we versus a place of I. And when I choreograph, I want to show that. I want to show collaboration in every form, because I feel like that is the best way to get through life, is to work with each other and to help each other. And as long as we have that consistency, I feel like we won't have to worry so much about I, because we are all in it together. But because I haven't really reached that kind of a point within my daily life, let alone my choreography, it's kind of a battle between trying to find the movement that says, open and loving and all that stuff, but but I'm still kind of feeling my selfish side come through. Yeah, it's hard to break the us and them type of mentality. So I guess, yeah.
Wow. That's a really awesome way of putting it. It's very human.
Does that make sense?
No,
yeah, and it's very human. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Love it. How do you balance the roles of dancer and choreographer?
Now that's a toughie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I try to balance it by... okay, so when we're in a typical choreographer-dancer situation, there's the choreographer, and he's like the head, he is the boss, he is who we listen to, he is, we do what he tells us. And I feel like, okay, so then when you're a dancer and you're with everyone else, you're one of the people, right? You're one of the dancers versus there's the one choreographer and here's all the dancers, okay? And so I feel like coming from being one of these dancers to being this, it's like I'm trying to figure out how to mold the two to where it doesn't have to be such a dictator type situation, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can imagine that to be difficult.
Yeah, it's super hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard because I feel like I want to let everyone say what they need to say when they feel like they need to say it. Like I feel like I don't need to be responsible for, okay, everyone, let's stop talking, let's get refocused, because I feel like if we're in tune to the process, then that's just something that would naturally be able to happen, and we can naturally rein ourselves in and just recognize, because we're that sensitive to what's going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. Does having a short period of time to set your work on the company make your job easier or more difficult?
Definitely more difficult.
Okay.
Especially because I've been one to choreograph the day of. I don't necessarily come in with a plan for this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen, and da-da-da-da. I kind of like to see how I feel that day and see what comes out of me, and sometimes that can be a lot slower process because it doesn't always happen boom, 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 diddy boom,
Yeah.
So...
Especially with the show just around the corner.
Yeah, with the show just around the corner, it's a lot to think about, and it's a lot of pressure that you can put on yourself. And one thing I've really realized is that I've got to learn to just let go and relax and enjoy the process, because it's about how you're doing it.
Right.
I feel like it's not necessarily what I'm doing, but how you do it.
Yeah.
And that's a hard thing to live by.
Totally.
For sure.
Totally. Awesome. And our last and final question, and this one I'm the most interested to hear your answer to, is what has it been setting work on dancers that you work with just about every day of the week?
What has it been like?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. It kind of goes back to, I think, what I was talking a little bit about earlier, is that because I know these people so well, and I know their personalities, and when I'm thinking about the dance and I have these people in my head, I try to get a sense of, like, a personalization towards it. So it's not like just some random character that I've made up and I'm like, okay, Angela or Melissa, you're going to do this. Because I feel like if it's not something that they would do, I don't want them to do it.
Yeah.
So in that way, it's it's harder, but it's also easier. You know, it's that kind of a balance thing that we got going on, and but it's a really fun challenge. It's a really
Awesome.
fun challenge. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chase, for
Yes.
answering all of our questions, and we look forward to seeing your piece in June at our Exposed show. Thanks.